Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanne Pearson, and I am the Advocacy Outreach Coordinator with the Center for Independent Living of Northwest Florida here in Pensacola. My special guest today is Takara James, and she will be talking about the WIPA program. She is actually a WIPA counselor that is on staff at the CIL in Jacksonville, Florida. And she is joining me today to talk about everything WIPA, which is the Work Incentives Planning and Assistance Program. So welcome, Takara, and I am going to turn this over to you. We are going to do Q&A at the very end. So if anybody has any questions, they can go ahead and type them in the Q&A box. Please do not put them in the chat box. Remember to put them in the Q&A so that we can get those answered, and anything that we don't answer today, you can feel free to email the CIL at info@cilnwf.org, and we'll field those questions to you. Thanks so much for joining us. Takara, take it away.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's been doing well. I'm just going to briefly go over what is WIPA. So many people have so many questions about WIPA. What is it? How can I get it? Is it free? What happens to my Social Security benefits when I go to work? Today is going to be a generalization about those things. However, if there is something that needs to be individualized, then I will leave my contact information at the end, and you guys can give me a call. And we can set up an appointment for that. So WIPA stands for Work Incentives Planning and Assistance. All right, what is WIPA? So really, it's a program that is paid for by the federal government out of the Social Security Administration part of that. And what we want to do at WIPA is help people who receive Social Security benefits go to work and obtain financial stability. That pretty much is what we do at WIPA. That's what WIPA is. Here are some myths. I hear everything under the sun. My auntie said if I go to work, I'm gonna lose my check. My friend went to work and then she had to pay all this money back. There are so many myths when it comes to Social Security and working. And today I hope to just really help you understand what's true and what's not true. Some of the most important, or the most myths that I see is if I go to work, I'm gonna lose my check. Social Security said I can make whatever I want and keep my full Social Security check. The work incentives are for everyone as long as you have a disability. Another myth is as long as I make under a certain amount, I do not have to report my wages to Social Security. Some myth says I didn't report my wages because Social Security taxes were being taken out of my check, so I thought they knew. Another myth is when I called Ticket to Work, I thought I was reporting to Social Security. I thought they were the same people. And another myth that we have is when people come see us, everyone thinks that we tell everyone it's best to go to work. There are some instances where we will tell a client, you need to reevaluate if working is financially going to be good for you. That does happen. Okay. So our next slide is programs under Social Security. This is the most confusing thing that a lot of people don't understand. When I call my clients and I say, what benefits you receive? They always tell me I get SSA. SSA stands for Social Security Administration. So you don't receive a building. That's not what you're on. I need to know, are you on SSI or are you on SSDI? And the reason being is because different rules apply for different programs. So if you are on their SSI, 9 times out of 10, you either have worked and didn't have enough credits to claim off of your work record, or you just haven't worked at all. So SSI is a welfare-based program. And all that means is the government is taking care of you. It's a welfare program, which is why there's way more rules on that program. That program, the SSI, pays cash benefits to disabled adults and kids who have limited income and resource, and is not based on your work, your prior work, or your family members' prior work. Now, the Social Security disability, that's different. SSDI says, I have worked, I have put enough money into the system, I ended up coming disabled, and now I need my retirement benefits early. That's really what SSDI is. And that pays cash benefits to you and certain family members if you have worked and put enough credits into the Social Security system. So let's try to go over what the SSI program is. The SSI, the maximum benefit that you can receive per month, and this is whether you're in Florida or California, you get the same amount, is $783 a month for an individual, $1,175 a month for an eligible couple. Now in 2021, it is going to increase from 783 to 794. Every year for a while, Congress vote and they give a little bit more to the SSI program each month. Unearned income affects the maximum amount. So I just told you the maximum amount you can receive is $783. However, if you receive child support, if you get a TANF check, if you go to work, if your parents give you an allowance, anything that is considered unearned income, spousal support, spouse's income, those things will lower the maximum amount that you can receive every month. So as you can see on the SSI program, anytime you're receiving a little bit, Social Security is going to take some of that they're already giving. Another thing to be eligible for the SSI program is you can have over $2,000 in resources. You cannot have a life insurance policy that can turn into cash. You cannot have $2,000 in the bank account. You can't have a trust fund that is set up unless those that are allowed by Social Security for that income to be not counted. You must be 65 or older, and you must be disabled or blind in order to receive SSI. Now, SSI work incentives. Really, the first $85 that you make, Social Security does not count that against you. And then you will hear the term, for every $2 you make, Social Security will take $1. So that is one work incentive. Another work incentive is the student earned income exclusion. My beneficiaries or my clients that are on SSI who are 22 and under, and they are in college full-time, or they are in a transitional program, which means they deferred their diploma and they will not graduate until they're 22. Those kids can go to work and not have their SSI check mess with because of the student earned income exclusion. Another work incentive for the SSI program is called impairment work expenses. For instance, if you cannot catch transportation, public transportation, and you get Uber, there are some Uber charges that you can count. And what it is you will turn this into Social Security that would allow you to make more money if it is approved. You also get PASS plan on the SSI. You get 1619B on the SSI. Those are some work incentives that are strictly for the SSI program. Now we're going to go over the types of disability benefits. There are a couple ways in which someone can receive SSDI payments instead of SSI. One way is a child who has a parent that is deceased. They can get benefits that way. A child who has a parent that is disabled can receive benefits off of their parents' work record. Another way you can get disability benefits is if you yourself have put in enough credits where you can claim off of your own work record, you can get it that way. And another way that someone can get benefits is called disabled widow benefits. And what that is someone whose spouse have passed away, they have been married for so long, and that spouse is on disability, that other spouse can claim widow benefits, and they get a certain amount per month off of the deceased spouse's benefits. Okay, work incentives for Social Security. You have the trial work period where you can go to work for 9 months and not have your wages messed with or your disability check changed at all. You have the extended period of eligibility where you get 36 months of an umbrella after you have made your disability check go into suspension. If you ever lost your job for any reason, whether you were fired or whether you quit or whether your health wouldn't allow you to, that work incentive is a safety net for you. You have cessation and grace. You have expedited reinstatement, where even if all those work incentives exhaust themselves, if you are in that 5-year time frame, you can request expedited reinstatement where you can get your disability benefits back faster. Of course, you have special work conditions and subsidy if your employer, give you more rest breaks, if they have someone working with you, if you have less duties than they would have hired someone else without a disability. Those are all work incentives that could help you maintain employment and keep your disability check. And of course, you get Medicare when you are on disability after you have waited at least 2 years for the qualifying waiting period. Now, what services do WIPA provide? We hear this all the time. I thought you guys do this. So let me tell you what we do. When you come see us, we're going to discuss work incentives that pertain to you. We're going to tell you how much money you can and cannot make, what work incentives are available and are not available. If you are on HUD housing, Section 8, SNAP benefits, VA benefits, or TANF benefits, we're going to go over that with you too. We're not going to just go over your Social Security side of things, because we need you to understand when you go to work, this is how that working is going to affect everything, not just your Social Security benefits. So you can understand, am I gaining more than I'm losing? And how long I'm gonna be able to work before things started happening to me financially with my disability check. We're going to also discuss how medical insurance will be affected. Medical is a big deal for a lot of our consumers. It's very important that they keep their medical. They need to know how much they're allowed to make before their medical goes away, their keratin that they may have. All of that through the APD services is very, very, very important. And we're going to go over all of that. We're going to actually go over to you how to report your wages to Social Security. That's a part of working. You must report your wages to avoid overpayment or anything else. So we're going to go over that with you. Any letters that you receive from Social Security while you are working that you may not understand, we're going to go over that with you as well. We're going to assist you with filling out forms that they may send you. We're going to help you keep benefits if that's what you want to. And we're also going to assist those who lost their jobs, who need their benefits back. We're going to help you guys get your benefits reinstated as well. We do not drop you. We do not close out our clients here. We stay with you guys for however long as you need us. I've been doing this for 7 years, almost 8. And I have a couple of people that have been on my caseload since day one, and they're still here for me. And then I have some that needed me one time. I went over everything with them. They got all the paperwork from me and they didn't need me anymore. And that is fine. We're going to be here for you for however long you may need us. What we do not do. This is also very important, because sometimes the ticket to work will send you guys over to us and we have to say, I'm so sorry, we do not do that here. Remember, in my department, although we are a SEAL and we have so many different services here, my department only can deal with how working impacts your Social Security benefits. That is all my grant allows me to do. So we do not help you find a job. We do not help you find adequate child care for your child. We cannot help you apply for Social Security benefits. So someone may come and say, hey, my friend said that I need to get on benefits. Can you help me? Now, I'm not saying we're going to turn you guys away, but understand if we do this, this is a courtesy and this is not required, nor are we supposed to be doing this as a Whipper counselor. We also do not, you cannot assign your ticket to our seal. I get this all the time. People call and they say, why assign my ticket to you guys? No, you cannot. Because we have a Whipper department here, you cannot sign your seal because it's like a double-edged sword or double dipping, and Social Security does not allow you to do that. So you cannot assign your ticket to us. That's not what we do here. However, if you need help with gaining employment, like I said, we have people here that are employment specialists that can help you. It just will not come from us. Okay. Now, the good question is, I have so many questions. How do I receive Whipper services? What do I need to do to get me a CWIG? And there's a couple ways. One, you can call the Ticket to Work helpline at 1-866-968-7842. And what they do is they send a referral to us, and then we have to call you guys within so many days to start those services up. The next thing you can do is you can call our seal at Seal Jacksonville, which is 904-399-8484. And you can ask to speak with the CWIC in the Whipper department. We actually have 3 CWICs here, and you can, we actually have, I'm sorry, we have 4. Forgot we have another one. And you can get either one of us. And once you get that person, that's who you stay with, and that's who you stick with. Another way you can do it is you can call the local VR and ask for us to be your service provider. VR does do a fee for service program for us. And so if you want Whipper services, you can tell your VR counselor and they can refer you to us as well. They will fax over us a referral and then we'll get in contact with you that way as well. Okay, so now I am done. I know I kind of sped through everything. And so I want to know if anyone has any questions.
We have quite a number of questions for you, Takara.
Okay.
I guess I'm going to go to the last one, since it's on the topic that you just talked about getting a referral. Someone wants to know if they currently have a Whipper counselor and they're not happy with them, can they switch?
Of course. I am going to say that if it's in our area, so this Seal Jacksonville, so I work with 37 counties. We have 37 counties. So as long as you're in one of our counties, then you can get a CWIC. However, say if you're in the Brevard Achievement area and you don't like one of their CWICs, you might be stuck because we cannot crawl into their area. But if you are in one of our 37 counties and you have a CWIC that you do not like, you can call and you can request to get another CWIC, and we can see how we can work those things out.
Wonderful. That's great. Okay, our next question is, can you have a burial policy or accident policy and still, are those policies okay to have while you have your benefits? Or because you had mentioned about not having a life insurance policy, but can someone have an accident policy, they said, or a burial policy?
Now, to me, a burial policy is a life insurance policy. And maybe you guys can help me out on that. I don't know the terminology of it. So I'm just going to use what Social Security say, because I don't know the logistics of what's the difference between a burial policy and a life insurance policy. If you have anything in your name that can turn into cash value, then yes, that will go against you. Okay.
A burial policy is not cash value. A burial policy is something that only covers the cost of your burial.
Okay, well, and if that is what it is and that is how it's written, then of course we do not count the burial policy with you because you can't get money out of it. You cannot make it a resource or an asset. Okay.
As long as it is written where you use it as cash or turn it in for cash or whatever, that is burial only? Because like mine is written as just a burial policy. It only covers my funeral costs and that's it.
Right.
Okay.
Well, then no, because then they can't get it money back. Now let's talk about this accidental, because this gets tricky. If you are on the SSI program and your job has where you can get accidental, whether it's through AARP or whatever insurance that you're using, if you had an accident and that person will award you, for instance, I'm just going to talk about me. My husband had it set up that anyone in our family, if we got in any type of accident, he can get so much money. We just prove that we got the accident. Well, about last year, I had a heart attack and we got $5,000 out of this accident policy. Had I been on SSI, that would have definitely counted against me because I received $5,000 for that. That will cause me to not be SSI eligible and lose my SSI eligibility until that money was all spent up. Okay, and so yes, accidental does, but also remember how much it is and what program you're on. If you're on the disability program and you have accidental, we don't care. If you won the lottery, we don't care. Because you've put enough money into the system, we don't count that against you. SSI, we do. So that's why it's very important to know what program you're on and the rules for that program. So when it comes to accidental insurance for the SSI side, yes, we absolutely care. It will absolutely count against you. On the SSDI side, we do not care. It will not count against you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, our next question says, how long are you able to keep your Medicare / health insurance through? Because some might have Medicare dual eligibility, Medicare, Medicaid. How long can you keep those benefits after returning to work?
It depends. That is not an open-end question. That is an individualized question. And let me explain to you why. Some of my clients, first of all, you can keep Medicare if you're paying for it for almost close to 9 years after. And that could be after you use eligibility for your cash benefits. So even though you're not getting cash, you still can keep medical as long as you're paying. But now if you're talking about I get both, which means the state of Florida is paying for your Part B premium. Once you make a certain amount, you're going to lose the free help. So again, that's an individualized. However, it can go either way. It's not like for Medicare, you're not going to be cut off as soon as you get a job. It does not work that way on the disability program. And for Medicaid, it doesn't either. You have to make such a certain amount when you're on SSI before you get off of Medicaid.
Well, there's another related question to that. Now, someone is receiving both, and it was their eligibility was extended due to COVID for the Medicaid. They're on Medicaid long-term care. So, how long they want to know how long will it affect their eligibility?
How long would it keep being extended?
Well, and would it affect their eligibility? You know, do they still have to remain, you know, they still have to follow those guidelines? Wouldn't they have the $2,000?
Oh, of course, because you're on SSI. So absolutely. Now, the only thing that the government did with COVID, which they're going to do again, they're going to give out another stimulus check. And so remember, you can't have over $2,000 in resources. So what they were doing was when they gave, especially the first time, if you had 4 kids and you're an individual, you got over $2,000 for this stimulus money. Instead of making you ineligible because you were over the $2,000, they gave you guys a grace period. And they said, we're going to give you 6 months to spend this money. We're not going to make you ineligible. We're not going to cut you off. And that all depends on how the government is going to rewrite it again. They may say, we're not giving you guys 6 months. We may only going to give you 1 month. That's why you have to keep watching the news, understand what Congress is doing when it concerns the resources that you guys are getting, because yes, you still have to remain eligible and not have over $2,000 in resources. But if Congress, who's federal government, say, hey, we're going to give them 6 months to spend this money. We have to give you guys 6 months. They can't cut you off because you have that much money sitting in your account.
Makes sense. Okay, now is SG, our next question says, is SGA level different depending on what your disability is?
That is not. It is the same for everyone unless you are blind. My blind, the blind lobbyists are so good. I mean, anytime they're doing anything, and I really wish other disabilities was as active as blind, but unfortunately they're not. And so the lobbyists always give blind, our blind disability people, you can make almost double for SGA than that of any other disability. So whether you have cancer, AIDS, whether you're autistic, whether you are deaf, you guys do not get to make a different SGA. The only people that can is those that are blind. That's it.
Okie doke. Let's see. Is the SGA level different depending on the program you're on, or is it the same?
SGA only applies in a disability program. It does not apply on
not SSI. It's SSDI only.
It's SSDI only. So it does not apply.
Thank you. Okay, and our next, what type of work incentives? For example, someone wants to know what type of work what things can you deduct to get your SGA, to get to your SGA level if you're making over?
Okay. Oh gosh, if you're blind, you can, you're seeing dog food, the pet bill, your walker that you may have. If you are, your cane stick. If you are deaf, you can do your hearing aids. If you have mental emotional, you can do your psychiatrist visits, your medications that you're on, the monthly amount that you guys have to pay to get those medications. If you, I have some clients that their disability is cerebral palsy, so they have a special steering wheel and foot pedals that will help them drive. They get to count that as a subsidy every single month, because although they're using that car to do their errands, they're also using that car to get to and from work. And although
for me, I have a specialized van. Would I be able to deduct my maintenance costs and whatever it takes me to upkeep that vehicle, since I'm using it? I travel at my job as an advocate, so I could take that off as a work incentive deduction.
Right, and that will help you. Now, understand this: deductions is solely up to the person in Social Security that are doing it. And that is one thing that I have a hard time dealing with, because nothing is in black and white. And so you might get someone at Social Security that say, yep, I'm counting this as a deduction. And you might get one that say, I don't feel like this is one that can be a subsidy.
Wow, that's hard.
Right, it's up to their interpretation. And if you read the red book, it says it in there. The only thing that's normally black and white is impairment related work expenses. For instance, your car. Someone may say, I'm accounted for you one time only. Well, some would say, well, you do it every month. There's maintenance every month, so I'm going to do it every month. And if you read anywhere in that red book, it's nowhere that says they get to count it every month, or do they have to count it only one time. It's up to that Social Security rep to decide. And we know how that can go sometimes. So, you just have to fight for it and ask why not, and do an appeal if you get, no, we're not going to count it, and try to get someone else to see if they will count it as that, because subsidies are not black and white. Impairment related, they're not black and white.
So how do you go about getting your list approved?
What you would do is you'll submit a subsidy form or impairment release form, and then you will submit it. And if they say yes on our list, and I tell my clients this all the time, I list everything. I don't care if it was $2. I'm listing it all on there. And some may get approved, some won't. But the more you put on there, I feel like the better chance you have to get those improved and documented. Because once that person approves it and get it documented, it's there to stay. They can't go back and say, well, we gave it to you last time, we're not giving it to you this time. Oh no, you said I was going to get it. And so they kind of stuck with it. But if they don't approve it the first time, that's when you have the problems.
I see. Okay. You mentioned a subsidy on one of your slides. Can you tell me a little bit more about the subsidy?
Subsidy. A subsidy can be, okay. For instance, if you have an employee that is blind and they are filing and they use a magnifying glass that the agency bought, or you have one that's cerebral palsy and they have a certain speak machine that will type up everything. Those things are called subsidies. Anything that your job lets you do or use to get your job done that they would not allow someone else that does not have a disability to work, that is considered a subsidy. If I have anxiety real bad and my job says due to my anxiety, I can take 15 rests throughout the day, that is a subsidy. Because the normal person that don't have a disability, they're not going to be able to take 15 breaks a day. That is a subsidy. If you have a job coach, although an agency is probably paying that job coach still has to go to that job, and that's a subsidy. So there's so many things that can be considered a subsidy. And if you have any questions on if something in particular it can be used as a subsidy, you can always reach out to us as well.
Well, that is all the questions that I have. You did a great job, Takara. These questions kind of tough.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate everybody joining us today. So yes, if you want to get in touch with Takara, tell us how to get in touch with you.
If you want to get in contact with us, I'm going to bring up the last slide. You can go to the Ticket to Work. Pensacola is actually one of my areas. So if they're calling from any of that area, they will get a CWIC here. They can ask specifically for me if they feel that some of my counties only ask for me, and that's okay. Vice versa, they only ask for other CWICs. That's fine too. You can call us at 904-399-8484. That's still Jacksonville. And you can ask to speak to either me or another CWIC in the department. And that is how we can assist you. You can always go through the Ticket to Work at 1-866-968-7842. That is another way.
Awesome. That is wonderful to know that you serve Pensacola. I know your services are well needed, yes, much needed. I know that I use them. I have a WIPA counselor currently. She has really, really been a great help to me. Good. And that's really why I wanted to get this education piece out to the community. So I'm glad for those that have watched today. And again, if you have any questions that were not answered on the webinar, please feel free to send those to us at cilnwf.org or info@cilnwf.org, and we will certainly answer your questions. Takara, thank you so much for partnering with me.
Thanks for having me. Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a good day.
Bye. Merry Christmas.